What do you think I mean?
Well, I don't know. You're the risk taker.
You think I'm talking about breaking the law?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how far you want it bent.
As far as you can without breaking it.
In other words, don't risk an IRS audit.
I don't give a damn about an audit. They just better not win.
That was iconic Gene Hackman alongside Tom Cruise in the 1993 film The Firm. It's so good if you haven't seen it. All right, we're all following this breaking news this morning that sheriff's deputies found Hackman, his wife, and their dog dead in their New Mexico home. The 95-year-old had long since retired from his storied career, which earned him 2 Academy Awards and 4 Golden Globes. CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister is joining us now. Now, authorities, you told us earlier, don't suspect foul play. Is there any reason being given for their deaths yet this morning?
There is not, Sarah, and this, of course, aside from being such a sad story, the passing of an absolute Hollywood legend, it's a really bizarre story. Gene Hackman and his wife, along with their dog, all found dead in their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Now, as you said, police have said that no foul play is suspected, but they have not given a cause of death. This investigation is ongoing. Gene Hackman and his wife, they were found yesterday in their home in New Mexico. Now, Gene Hackman had really stepped out of the limelight for decades. He retired from Hollywood in 2004, and he and his wife had lived a quiet, relatively private life in New Mexico since they had moved there. Now, of course, one of the greatest Hollywood screen actors of our time, and we have seen a few tributes, Francis Ford Coppola, George Takei, but of course it is very early here on the West Coast, so as people are going to be waking up in Los Angeles to this sad news, I anticipate we will see many more Hollywood tributes come. There you see the 5 Oscars that Gene Hackman was nominated for, winning 2 of them. This is even more meaningful, coming just days before the Oscars are this weekend. I anticipate that we will get a huge tribute to him at the In Memoriam. But, you know, Sarah, back in 2011, when Gene Hackman was 81 years old, he was asked by GQ in a magazine profile how he wants to be remembered. I want to read to you what he had to say. He said, quote, "I want to be remembered, quote, as a decent actor, as someone who tried to portray what was given to them in honest fashion." Then he said with a laugh, "I don't know beyond that. I don't think about that often, to be honest, and I'm at an age where I should think about it." Now, back in the 80s, Gene Hackman sat down with CNN for an interview, and despite how great he was on screen, he actually said that he doesn't like to watch himself.
Unless you were looking at some other monitor, you weren't looking at it.
No, I don't like to watch.
You don't like to watch yourself? Do you go to your own films?
No, once in a while I'll see one, but I prefer to think of myself the way I feel, which is 23. And then
Oh, vanity.
I see this old man up
vanity.
there.
I
Yeah, right.
see, I see.
Now, of course, 95 years is a great long life, and he had an illustrious career, but ending in this way, in such bizarre fashion, is certainly going to strike a lot of people. So again, Sarah, this investigation will continue, and hopefully we will have more answers very soon.
Joining us now to discuss the legacy of Gene Hackman, Segun Odulowu. He's an entertainment journalist. Thank you so much for being back with us, Segun. You know, we're just watching a few clips there that is just a tiny portion of what Gene Hackman did in his incredible career. It was just such an expansive, multi-decade film career.
Jessica, you're absolutely right. 6 decades his career spanned. Everything from superhero movies, Superman opposite Christopher Reeves, he was Lex Luthor. Westerns, Unforgiven, he's opposite Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman. Action movies, he's opposite Will Smith in Enemy of the State, and the movie that I will always remember him for because my freshman basketball coach at Chantilly High School, Mark Wayne, quoted his speech about the baskets being 10 foot high wherever you go, Norman Dale and Hoosiers. Gene Hackman was an actor for every occasion, for every film, and for everyone. It didn't matter. In fact, opposite Denzel Washington in Crimson Tide, there's a story where women would stop him, black women would stop him in the grocery store and say, "You the man that hit Denzel." We don't like that. Like, that's who Gene Hackman was. Everybody loved a Gene Hackman movie. He will be sorely missed.
He really will, and everybody has one that they love, or three or four, and it is just he is such an emblem of a time in the film industry where you could have a 6-decade career and play all of these types of characters. So many of the movies we love that he's in probably wouldn't even get made anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't beautiful like an Errol Flynn, George Clooney. In fact, he didn't think that he could be a leading actor or a star because he didn't have those classic movie star looks, right? He didn't have the sex appeal of like a Brad Pitt or a Denzel Washington. But he was everyman. Like, he looked like your next door neighbor, so you believed him in everything that he played, even if it was, a sappy, ridiculous movie, The Quick and the Dead, with Leonardo DiCaprio and other actors and actresses. But he was the guy that you went to see, and those movies don't exist anymore. The Gene Hackman movies, they weren't huge budget films. They were just good movies, and that type of cinema isn't around anymore. And with the Oscars right around the corner this weekend, there better be an appropriate montage for this titan of film, because I don't think we're going to see the like of a Gene Hackman again. Those movies just don't get made with this type of a star.
Yeah. And we're watching a clip right now from Runaway Jury with Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman. And it's, there's a relationship between these two. I think the story is they were coming up together and they were both voted least likely to succeed.
Yeah, they did come up together as friends, struggling actors in out here in California at a playhouse, and then later rekindled their friendship in New York as Gene was struggling. Gene actually got kicked out of the program and basically kind of thumbed his nose and said, "I'll show you guys. I'm going to make it," and went to New York. And he's a testament of like the working actor, the person that just shows up every day, delivers. You mentioned the Royal Tannenbaums. He was adept at doing comedy. We talked about action movies, spy thrillers. It didn't matter. You knew if you put Gene Hackman in your movie, you were going to get award-worthy performances. He won 2 Academy Awards, one for Best Actor in The French Connection with his classic character of Popeye Doyle, and then again for playing an evil sheriff in Unforgiven. Those roles span 20-plus years apart. So Gene Hackman, it didn't matter. Like, he was the guy. Like, can you think of an actor now that you would say, okay, well, if they're in the movie, I'm going to see it because it's going to be good? I can't think of one. I always knew Gene Hackman movies, they were going to be good.
Yeah. He leaves quite a legacy behind. So again, thanks for walking us through it. We really appreciate it.
Jessica, I wish it was under better circumstances, but happy to talk about this titan of cinema, Gene Hackman. The lights are a little bit dimmer here in Hollywood.